What an electrifying time to be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. The trade deadline has just passed, and the Leafs have made some bold moves that could reshape their playoff aspirations. Can you feel the excitement? A massive addition to the blue line has finally arrived, addressing a critical need for the team. Who is this player, and how will he impact our roster? Stick around as we dive deep into the details. If you're passionate about the Leafs, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button to keep up with all the latest news and insights. The Toronto Maple Leafs made some significant moves at the trade deadline, and I couldn't be more excited. First up, they acquired Brandon Carlo from the Boston Bruins. This is a big deal, folks. Carlo is a right-handed defenseman, standing tall at 6'5" and weighing nearly 220 pounds. He's only 28 years old and brings with him a contract that spans this season and the next two, at a cap hit of $3.5 million per year, thanks to the Bruins retaining 15% of his salary. The cost was steep: a first-round pick, promising prospect, Fraser Mitten, and a fourth-round pick. But let's break down why this could be worth it. Carlo excels in difficult situations. He plays against the other team's best players and starts the majority of his shifts in the defensive zone. In fact, he ranks among the top players in the NHL for defensive zone starts while handling elite competition. This isn't just a depth move, it's a strategic enhancement to our blue line. The addition of Carlo means we now have a solid top four with Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev already in the mix. Imagine Carlo playing behind those guys, focusing on slightly easier minutes while still being effective. It feels like we've finally found a solution to our defensive challenges. And let's not forget about Scott Laughton, who we also brought in from the Philadelphia Flyers. Laughton's versatility is a huge plus. He's a center who can also play on the wing. And with the Flyers retaining half of his salary, he'll only cost us $1.5 million against the cap for this year and next. On pace for 15 goals and around 36 points, he can fill an important role in our lineup. However, there's a bit of an elephant in the room. Both of his former coaches have preferred him on the wing rather than at center, which raises questions about how we'll deploy him. When I look at our forward group now, the options are intriguing. Laughton can complement the likes of William Nylander, potentially replicating the chemistry he had with Travis Konechny in Philadelphia. And if things aren't working out, we have the flexibility to adjust the lineup. This is crucial as we gear up for the playoffs. The last thing we want is a repeat of past disappointments. But I have to ask, did we give up too much? Honestly, I'm torn. First-round picks and top prospects can be the lifeblood of a franchise, but they also don't guarantee success for years. If the competitive window is now, then these moves could pay off. We have a solid goaltending duo and one of the best shutdown pairings in the league. Adding Carlo and Laughton strengthens our chances of making a deep playoff run. Now, let's talk about the emotional aspect. As a lifelong fan, each trade brings a mix of hope and anxiety. Are we finally making the right moves to end the playoff heartbreak? Seeing Carlo and Laughton in blue and white ignites a fire in me. These players come with experience and a winning mentality, which could be the difference maker in high-stakes games. I want to know what you think. Do you believe this is the right path forward for the Leafs? Are you as excited about Carlo and Laughton as I am? And you, what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. Mitch Marner's contract situation with the Toronto Maple Leafs has become one of the most talked about topics as we move deeper into the season. After the chaotic end to the NHL trade deadline, all eyes are on Marner and the Leafs. Just recently, we heard whispers that Marner was involved in a potential trade deal to acquire Mikko Rantanen from the Carolina Hurricanes. However, Marner's refusal to waive his no-movement clause led to Rantanen heading to the Dallas Stars instead. So, what does this mean for Marner's future with the team? As things stand, Marner is set to become an unrestricted free agent. He's in the final season of his 6-year deal, which carries an average annual value of $10,903 million. The big question now is, what will the terms of his next contract look like? And will both sides find common ground in these negotiations? Frank Saravalli and Tyler Yaremchuk touched upon this in the latest episode of Daily Face-Off Live. It's clear that both Mitch Marner and the Toronto Maple Leafs want to make this work. Marner has expressed his desire to remain with the team for the long haul, while general manager Brad Treliving has echoed the sentiment, saying they want Marner around for the future. So why can't they come to an agreement? Could it be that Marner's camp is asking for something so outrageous that the Leafs just can't wrap their heads around it. I mean, I have a hard time believing there isn't a middle ground to be found here. But the reality is, the Leafs are in a position where they want to keep their options open, especially if they don't find playoff success again this year. They've been hitting their heads against a concrete wall for too long, and the question looms large. How many more years can we say, "This time will be different," before we lose hope? The reality is, the Leafs haven't even come close to winning a Stanley Cup, with their chances sitting at less than 25%. It's a harsh truth that we, as passionate fans, need to confront. The team desperately needs a different approach, a new style that can break this cycle of disappointment. Now, let's talk about the emotional weight of this situation. As fans, we invest so much into this team, our hopes, our dreams, our energy, and it's heart-wrenching to see talented players like Marner caught in the midst of this negotiation drama. He's a phenomenal player, and it's easy to get frustrated thinking about the possibility of losing him. But then, I also understand the front office's perspective. They need to think long-term and ensure they're building a team that can finally bring the Stanley Cup back to Toronto. So, what do you think? Was it the right move for the Leafs to hold on to Marner instead of letting him go for a player like Rantanen? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, retaining Marner means keeping a core player who can change the game. On the other hand, you have to wonder if this roster needs a shakeup to finally get over the playoff hump. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think the Leafs should dig in their heels and find a way to keep Marner, or is it time to consider a different direction? Join the conversation in the comments below, and let's discuss your expectations for both Marner and the team moving forward. This is a pivotal point in the Leafs' journey, and every choice counts. If you want to stay updated on all things Toronto Maple Leafs, don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow fans, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure to activate that notification bell so you get every update as we navigate this exciting season together.